This is WTOV TV 9, Steubenville Wheeling. Now, the team to watch. Jim Forbes, Sherry McCutcheon, meteorologist Keith Williams, and Steve Fortunato with sports. This is News 9.
Good evening. It's been 1 week since voters turned down an operating levy for the Edison local school district.
And tonight, several parents and teachers held a vigil to promote interest in passing the levy next time it's on the ballot. Rick Blaylock was at the vigil. Right now, he's in our newsroom with the latest. Rick?
Yes, Jim, tonight's vigil was one that was a moving one in the sense that parents drove from Burgos on to Amsterdam, then went on to East Springfield, then Richmond, and ended up in Pleasant Hills. Now, they picked up more participants along the way at each stop. And organizers say that tonight's vigil was to symbolize what they call the death of education in the Edison local school district.
We are gathered here to mark the anniversary of a dark day for education. A week ago, the electorate of this district chose to end education as we have known it. The darkness of tonight symbolizes what the world would be like without knowledge.
A similar speech was given at each stop on the moving vigil. While the wind was blowing too much for candles to remain lit, participants had no trouble in holding signs, tying armbands, and singing.
Education, education for our kids.
Will tonight's demonstration mean much? Teacher Karen Taylor hopes so.
We're anticipating, if we start small now, that we can build up a sway of opinion and get the voters really concerned. And maybe little demonstrations in our towns like this will help us get started. We're hoping it has a snowball effect. By the time the levy goes on again, maybe we can have more positive support.
Now it's possible that the operating levy could be back on the ballot in June, maybe even as early as next February. Organizers of tonight's event are hoping that happens. They say if it does not, that it's very possible that the school district will soon be borrowing money from the state. And another note about tonight's vigil that's sending out mixed signals is the Edison Local Education Association, the teachers union, had originally sanctioned tonight's vigil. But just before it started, organizers say they got word from the union that the union was reversing its position and not supporting tonight's demonstration. I'm Rick Blaylock reporting live from the newsroom. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Rick. The trial of Billy Wayne Smith got interrupted today by a bomb threat. Fire officials found no bomb, and the day ended early. But prior to the bomb threat, opening arguments were held. Smith is the third of 4 men accused in the November 1987 murder of Kevin Burks of East Liverpool. The jury was also taken to the scene of the crime, to East Liverpool where Burks lived, and to the home of Billy Wayne Smith. After the tour, the jury listened to both attorneys' overview of what the evidence would lead to. 7 of 18 state witnesses took the stand today. Tomorrow, Sheriff Fred Abdallah will take the stand when the case continues in the morning. Meantime, in Belmont County, a former Martins Ferry resident was arraigned in common pleas court. Frank Brown is charged with the December 1987 stabbing death of Glenda Heath of Martins Ferry. Judge Jennifer Sarkis appointed attorney Paul Jeffers to represent Brown. The defendant waived the reading of the indictment and entered a plea of not guilty. The trial is set for December 11th. Brown is presently serving 7 years in a New Jersey prison for stabbing former Belmont County resident Diane Cooper. Both Heath and Cooper were dating Brown. The original charge against Brown was dropped, but he was recently re-indicted for that crime.
Defective brakes may have been the cause of a serious accident this afternoon in Wellsburg. A car left Route 2 and crashed into an Amoco station, trapping a man underneath the wreckage. Lieutenant Rudy Savinsky says the car missed hitting the station's gasoline pumps by inches.
It was southbound on 16th and Commerce, hit the medium strip, rode the medium strip for approximately over 100 feet, and then come across the Amoco station lot and drove into the corner of the Amoco gas station.
Any idea what may have happened to trigger the accident?
I believe partially could have been defective equipment.
67-year-old Jack Arbogast is in critical condition tonight after being life-flighted to Allegheny General Hospital in Pittsburgh. His son owns the gas station. Arbogast was standing outside the station when he was hit by the car, thrown through a plate glass window, and was pinned under the wreck. The driver of the car, Elizabeth Parks, was taken to Wheeling Hospital where she is in stable condition. 2 passengers in her car, George DeGarmo and Lewis Michaels, were treated and released. Even 4 years after its closing, the Steubenville City landfill continues to present a problem for city lawmakers. The Environmental Protection Agency has issued new regulations that could cost the city millions of dollars to uphold. When the city landfill was closed in 1985, all of the EPA regulations for closing the site were met. Now, 4 years later, the EPA is again issuing new regulations that could cost the city up to $3 million.
They want the landfill covered with 24 inches of clay soil, and we don't have the money. But we're going to look at some alternatives. It'll be talked over with council very seriously, looked at, because we want to move forward with this to not only satisfy the EPA, but to make things healthy and whatever's necessary.
City Council heard from CT Consultants tonight on what its options are in keeping with government regulations. After the passage of House Bill 592, the government agency can sue any city that does not keep in line with regulations. Members of the consulting firm hired by the city say the EPA could at any time again change the regulations for the landfill even after the current standards are met. Now, at this point, Council has two options, according to the consultants. Either they can do everything the EPA wants now, or they can fight the new regulations and face taking the battle to court.
Still to come on News 9, lawmakers in Pennsylvania are discussing the strictest abortion restrictions in the nation.
And Chris Horn continues his series, High Rollers, with a look at the causes of compulsive gambling.
At the St. Petersburg Times, press operators had to wait while pages were sent by hand from an office miles away. But then, with the help of GTE, they came up with a way to send those pages over fiber optic phone lines, saving precious time and money. You see, at GTE, it's not just communications we offer, it's solutions. Call us. We deliver.
The Hyundai Excel has been the best-selling imported car for 3 years running. How can you beat that? Introducing the all-new 1990 Hyundai Excel. With electronic fuel injection, it has 20% more horsepower. Plus, it has more room inside and a more aerodynamic outside. The all-new Excel. We're sorry to see the old one go. But, like they say, there's only so much room at the top. Hyundai, we're making more sense than ever.
Through the years, we've relied on our financial institutions to help us plan for the future. And as families grow, needs change. So the Westbanco banks have put together a package of exclusive benefits and services for those age 50 and over called Freedom 50 Club. Free interest-bearing checking with just $100 minimum deposit, pharmacy and eyewear discounts, and special social activities. Visit the Westbanco bank near you and join the Freedom 50 Club. It's about time.
Coming up later on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, host Jay Leno welcomes comedian Tom Sharp.
Yeah, you have a movie coming out, too?
Well, I do. I can't until I take the other two back.
Plus, actress Mary Stuart Masterson and hit recording artist Michael Bolton. Then, after Jay, it's Late Night with David Letterman and Saturday Night Live's Dana Carvey and the Eurythmics.
No one will be admitted during the last 5 minutes.
Coming up later tonight.
By a vote of 33 to 17, the Pennsylvania Senate tonight passed the nation's toughest abortion law. Pro-choice forces introduced 9 amendments in an attempt to delay the bill's passage. However, all 9 were defeated. Earlier today, the rush was on by some state senators to make some last-minute changes. Robin McIntosh followed today's proceedings.
When Bucks County State Senator Jim Greenwood walked into the Senate this afternoon, he predicted a 50-50 chance for the rare parliamentary procedure of suspending the rules. Greenwood, one of a minority of senators unhappy with the Abortion Control Act of 1989, contained in Senate Bill 369. The act would order a 24-hour waiting period before a woman could obtain an abortion, ban most abortions after 24 weeks, calls for notification of a spouse, and bans abortion on the basis of sex selection. Greenwood argues the measure before the Senate was so significant it deserved debate, and by a 26-24 vote, the Senate agreed.
I would love to gut the bill. I would love to defeat the bill, but I have 16 votes for that. I may have 26 votes for some of these amendments.
Abortion rights senators have a list of a dozen amendments they hope will water down what's been called one of the toughest abortion control laws in the country.
We hope amendments will be offered and accepted that modify it somewhat and that protect the health and the lives of the women of Pennsylvania.
Both parties held caucuses to map strategy late this afternoon. Anti-abortion senators like Delaware County's Joseph Loper thinks the original bill will pass intact.
I would say at this point it looks to me like there may not be sufficient enough support for all the amendments to get in there.
One anti-abortion group held a rally today to spotlight alternatives to abortion, saying a new abortion law is needed.
We're hoping for the bill to come through at some hour tonight unscathed.
Pennsylvania Senate has traditionally supported tighter restrictions on abortion.
Come Saturday, you'll notice a subtle change on the next bottle of beer, but you'll have to look closely, too closely, as far as some senators are concerned. On November 18th, beer, wine coolers, and liquor bottles will begin carrying warning labels similar to those on cigarette packages. However, some senators say the labels are inadequate.
It's almost impossible to read. They have purposely allowed the industry to come up with a label that is illegible. It's almost impossible to read it. Why? Well, the industry suddenly flooded the administration with 4,000 letters complaining about any regulations that might be meaningful or tough. The industry snapped its fingers, and the administration sat up and obeyed their wishes.
And we're going to keep on until we do get them satisfactory. If the ATF doesn't come up with satisfactory labels now, we're going to insist and insist and insist. And we want the public to help us. We want the public to write to ATF and tell them that they must provide warning labels that are satisfactory on these alcohol containers.
Well, let's get one thing straight. We are supporting...
Gore has promised to work toward legislation that would require that the labels be easier to read.
Alcoholics must admit they are helpless before they can stop drinking. A compulsive gambler must do the same, but before that stage, many bettors reach their darkest depths. Chris Horn has part 2 of his series High Rollers and describes just how bad a gambling habit can become.
When and how did you hit the basement, so to speak?
I thought about committing suicide. I was very serious about that. I was practicing with my pump gun. I had it all loaded up. I was planning a robbery. I was going to go hit this bar boot game I knew that was going on, and there was a lot of money there. Okay, and it was a local game. And I had plans on shooting the first guy that seen as soon as I went through the door.
Eddie would skip work to go to the track and became what he calls a very good liar. His obsession was affecting every aspect of his life.
It was always the action. I had to be getting over, getting under, shamming, jamming, conning, scheming, lying. I was in a big dream world there. You know, I had dreams of owning this one track that I was going to.
And Juanita was eager to go to work every day as a bartender, but it wasn't to wait on customers. She wanted to play the poker machines.
I had to see those lights light up, you know. It was fast enough. I could put more money in it to the tune of in 2 days, I put $500 in it out of the till.
And the numbers weren't adding up for Jim, whose addiction to the track, among other things, led him to a mounting stack of unpaid bills.
After I filed bankruptcy, I was back into 12 loan companies, loan shark bookies, people. I was paying more money in interest on what I owed than I actually made working. So I was paying loan shark $250 a month interest, 12 loan companies about 120, and all friends and everything. I was only clearing $350 a month.
All 3 of these gamblers did seek help, and tomorrow I'll trace their slow and painful road back. Chris Horn, News 9.
Well, it was a wet day today, but overall, the night was nice tonight.
Really? Well, I don't think that, I think we're going to say goodbye to Indian summer, but we'll have to ask Keith for sure. He'll be up next with the AccuWeather forecast. Stay tuned.
That's right, my friends. But you must choose wisely.
Oh, no. Which one should we choose? This is it! It's the Snowbird doll. The perfect cute and cuddly gift for all my little buddies. You can order yours today.
Send your check or money order for $9 plus $1 postage and handling to Snowbird Doll, WTOV TV9, P.O. Box 2545, Steubenville, Ohio 43952.
Mom, what's rocket fuel made of? Look it up, dear. Look it up, dear.
Stay tuned for a free offer from Encyclopedia Britannica.
Come taste the adventure. Come reach to the sky. Come feel the excitement of who, what, where, why. Open Britannica. Explore and you'll find that living the moment can capture your mind.
To find out more about Britannica for your child, call toll-free
1-800-247-6800.
and we'll send you this free booklet. And just for previewing Britannica in your own home, you can get this 3-volume desk reference set absolutely free. So call this number now.
There's experience for a lifetime in Britannica.
Call now.
We can take the rain, Keith, but please don't tell me that these rain showers will be turning into snow showers.
Okay, I won't tell you. It may happen.
Really?
Anyway, it was kind of wet this afternoon. Matter of fact, it's raining out there now. The showers actually came in a little bit earlier today than we thought, but it did get pretty mild this afternoon, all the way up to about 70 degrees. So it looks like one more day of mild temperatures, then things do start to go downhill. I'll get to the forecast in just a minute. First, let's go outside and check on our current conditions. In Steubenville, currently 57 degrees, 55 in both Weirton and Wheeling. St. Clairsville, 56. 58 in Pittsburgh and East Liverpool, 57. Winds now out of the southwest at 8 miles an hour, relative humidity 76%, barometer falling to 9.92 inches of mercury. Air pollution index listed in the moderate category this afternoon. We've had 11 hundredths of an inch of rainfall in the past 24 hours. Our monthly total now 72 hundredths, and our yearly total 37.61. High temperature today, again, a mild 70 degrees. That's about 20 degrees above normal. Overnight low 49, and our normals 50 and 34. Well, I talked to Louise Gill here in Valley Grove this evening. She said it was a cloudy but nice evening in Valley Grove, and a temperature about 55 degrees. On our current radar picture, most of the showers are gone at this hour. Still a few scattered light showers across the area. It looks like that will probably continue through the rest of the late night, early morning hours. Just a few light scattered showers and maybe a possibility of an isolated thunderstorm. On our current jet stream pattern, we see why it was so warm today. We had a pretty large area of high pressure, a ridge of high pressure over most of the high valleys this afternoon. We saw some pretty warm temperatures as well as some cloudy skies, though. High pressure off the east coast kind of continued to produce some easterly winds, and that brought up some Gulf moisture into the high valley. On the current jet stream pattern, again, those clouds continuing across the eastern half of the country. Maybe some breaks in the clouds over later on tonight, but I still expect maybe a few showers throughout the late night and early morning hours. High temperature today, still pretty mild for this time of year. We made it up to some record high temperatures for today. 68 degrees recorded in Youngstown this afternoon, and that broke their previous record set back in 1956. Low temperatures tonight, still quite mild, mostly 40s across the high valley. Then highs for tomorrow, again, another mild day across most of the tri-state, and we'll see mostly 60s, but that will change towards the end of the week. For tomorrow, then, the major focus on the weather for tomorrow will be the frontal system moving through the Ohio Valley, and look at this temperature contrast across the front. We'll see mostly 70s ahead of the front, but some colder 40s behind that front, and even into the teens farther to the north. Your forecast for tonight calls for showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two, breezy and mild throughout the early morning hours, overnight low 53. For tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms, maybe some heavy thunderstorms also during the afternoon hours, mild with high about 65. Then for Wednesday night, more of the same expected, low 45, and turning much colder with flurries on Thursday, and temperatures will be falling throughout the day.
Oh, doesn't sound like good news.
That's not.
All right, thanks a lot, Keith. When we come back, the Cavs and Pens are both trying to get back on the winning track.
However, local high school football teams are trying to stay on the winning track during playoffs. Steve is next with sports.
London with Regis and Kathy Lee.
The Americans are coming. The Americans are coming.
Join us for a look at London like you've never seen it before. The sights and the shopping. Stop by for a spot of tea and a party live from London. And on the next Live, where did the royal family get their jewelry? Find out from the personal jeweler to the crown. Plus, discover the unknown London with British punker Matt Belgrano.
Wednesday at 9 on TV 9.
In 1890, we had a vision to build a financial institution that cared about people, not just dollars and cents. Throughout the years, the Buckeye has continued to grow, backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. Buckeye Savings has proudly served the Ohio Valley for 100 years.
The Buckeye has made a commitment to the people of this valley. 100 years of service, 100 years of trust, and we think that's worth something.
Buckeye Savings, 100 years of stability.
A Culligan water conditioner, an ordinary brand. Before you choose, think about this. Culligan has been an expert for over 50 years. So if anything should happen to a Culligan water conditioner... Hey, Culligan man! There's always a Culligan man around to take care of it.
If you like tender, juicy white meat, this is the turkey for you.
What's your favorite part of the turkey? Honeysuckle white is more of what you like. What's your favorite part of the turkey? Honeysuckle white is more of what you like.
Every honeysuckle white turkey is hand-selected to give you slice after slice of tender, juicy white meat. So if you like white meat...
What's your favorite part of the turkey? Honeysuckle white is more of what you like.
On to the world of sports now. The Penguins turned it around.
Hope, before we're going on
Hope
here,
works, yeah.
Sherry said...
It's about time.
It's about time, and it is. And it's here, and hopefully they'll cruise on in like they were last year. Something got to the Pens tonight under enormous amounts of turmoil concerning the rumored firing of head coach Gino Briacco. The Pens put an end to their three-game losing streak, and they did it in big fashion against the Patrick Division's first place, New York Rangers. To the highlights, second period, 1-0 Pens. That's Paul Coffey. Coast to coast, and a perfect feed to Mark Recchi. He scores, beating Bob Froese, 2-0 Pens. Third period, 4-0 Pens. Troy Loney, known for a powerful wrist shot, uses it. Bob Froese. Froese on the play, no clue, 5-0 Pens. Froese is finished, and the play of the game. Robbie Brown putting on the Ritz, splits the defenders, spins, feeds John Cullen, and how about the move? Cullen puts on new goalie John Van Beesbrook. He scores. All Penguins tonight at the Igloo. They go on to win. The final score 6-0. Wendell Young gets the shutout for the Penguins. They are now 6-10-2 on the year. And Thursday, the Pens will host Quebec. Elsewhere, a Patrick Division game. Philadelphia over the Islanders 5-4 tonight. Hartford shuts out Detroit 3-0. Winnipeg over Quebec 5-3. LA leading Calgary 4-1. That game in the second period. Washington, Vancouver, they are scoreless in the first. To basketball, where the Cavs, like the Pens, are off to a miserable start. And much like the Pens, they turned it around tonight in New Jersey, where they played the New Jersey Nets. All Nets tonight in the first half. The rookie, Mookie Blaylock, to Sam Bowie for the hoop by halftime. It was 47-44 New Jersey. Second half, here come the Cavs. Mark Price is back off the back foot. He had 21 points, 56-51 Cavs. End of the third quarter. It's called defense. Ron Harper the steal to Craig Elo. Elo off the bench led all scorers with 23 points and the jam. Cavs by 13 after three quarters. They go on to win it, beating New Jersey 103-92. The final. The Cavs are now 2-4 on the season, and they host the Golden State Warriors tomorrow night. Elsewhere, Charlotte over Orlando 130-116. That sounds weird. Anyway, Milwaukee over San Antonio 108-97. Miami beats Houston 101-99. Boston over the Sixers 96-94 on a Larry Bird final second shot. Who else? Golden State loses to Minnesota. The Timberwolves win again 101-98. The rest are all partial. Seattle leading Dallas in the second. Denver and the Clippers just underway. Ditto for Chicago, Sacramento. Ditto for New York and Portland. Locally, it's playoff time in West Virginia. The West Virginia girls high school basketball playoffs have begun. And let's get right to the scoreboard, where we start with the West Virginia Class AAA Region 1, Section 1 playoffs. That's the wrong thing. That is high school football. There you go. It's Weirton beating Oak Glen tonight, 43-38. Brandy Paddock with 14 points. West Virginia Class 8 Region 2 Section 1 playoffs. It was Sistersville beating Tyler County 38-37. Shannon Evans and Angie Kendall each had 10 points. Section 1 playoffs, West Virginia Class 8. Oh, it's not there, but you're going to have to believe me. It's Valley over Paden City 37-33, and that's a wrap on those. The high school football playoffs are entering their second week in West Virginia, and the third week in Ohio. The Shadyside Tigers have a Friday night date with McDonald and East Liverpool. The winner will go to the state championship game. The Tigers have won 11 in a row, and they have relied heavily on the passing game of Brent Burkhart during their 2 playoff wins. He's thrown for over 200 yards in each game and connected on 4 touchdown passes. Coach Ty Fleming isn't going to change a thing.
Come playoff time, you're meeting some pretty good opponents, and along that line of scrimmage, it was a stalemate, and a lot of high school teams don't see a lot of throwing, and you know, we pride ourselves on throwing the football. We throw it a lot. We probably work 60-70% of our practice time on passing and blocking, so come Friday night, we'll have the ball in the air.
And we shall see Shadyside and McDonald at East Liverpool Friday at 7:30. Across the river in downstate, Sistersville will play Peterstown in a Class Single A semifinal match in Princeton Saturday afternoon. Peterstown is undefeated in 1989, and Sistersville coach Jerry Drake knows exactly what the Tigers have to do to win the big one on Saturday.
You know, they have extremely quick people, and if we can stop the big plays, and we feel we can move the ball on their defense, even though they're exceptionally big, we feel that we have a pretty decent offensive team. Also, that we can move the ball on them. Our key is going to be stop their big plays.
That's a wrap on sports. Should be another exciting weekend of high school football in the Valley.
Should be.
Should be.
Still to come, Keith will have our 5-day forecast.
And we'll tell you about a new tenant in an old Wheeling building. Stay tuned.
He was one of 11 brothers and sisters growing up with an alcoholic father. On my next show, a different side to funny man Louis Anderson. Plus the court trial that stole the headlines from L.A. Law. We'll talk with William Hurt's former lover, Sandra Jennings, and tennis superstar Martina Navratilova. All right here on the next Joan Rivers Show.
Wednesday at 4 on TV9.
A new Lincoln Town Car for the 1990s has arrived. Dramatically different. A powerful V8 and more room than any other luxury car.
Your Lincoln Town Car, sir.
Lincoln, now more than ever, what a luxury car should be.
Who are these jokers? Make your guess during the American Cancer Society's Jail and Bail November 14th through the 17th at Ohio Valley Hospital. Call 282-JAIL for more information.
And finally tonight, part of an 80-year-old building in Wheeling that's been vacant for some time is coming back to life. The Jewelry and Watch Repair Company is going to move into the storefronts adjacent to the entrance of the Victoria Theater. Joe and Carol DiCarlo are owners of the business.
A big factor in the move would be the preservation of this building. We spoke with Stan. We called Stan up to try to make arrangements so where we can fit into the building and also get a little more visibility.
They called us on the phone and they said, what can we do to help save the Vic? We're looking for, you know, some street front real estate to kind of grow our business a little bit. And I said, great, you know, we can do a deal and you can help us and we can help you. And they're real excited and we're real excited.
Business is expected to move into its new location this weekend. Stanley Close is working to get other tenants to relocate into the historic theater.
Now we'll move back to Keith and look into the next 5 days.
Well, it looks like one more day of mild temperatures, Sherry, but then it's time to get out the overcoats again. Sorry about that. Here's forecast. For Wednesday, showers, thunderstorms possible, 65 degrees for a high. Much colder than for Thursday, flurries. All I can say, temperatures falling. For Friday, cold flurries possible again, 33 degrees. For Saturday, partly sunny, not quite as cold, 43, and variable clouds for Sunday, and 47.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Keith. And that's all for this edition of News 9. Thanks for watching.
Our next report is tomorrow morning at 7:25 with Lisa Beebe. For all of us at TV9, have a good night.